Now, we can't really talk about the fairy tale
without
first talking about the folk tale, because there is a strong connection between these two genres.
These two types of
stories, in fact, many fairy tales started out as folk tale. So, what's a folk tale?
How would you
characterize them?
Jeff?
Well, they're old stories, traditional stories. They were passed down orally within cultures from generation to generation. So they change over time. I mean, every storyteller, or maybe every town, might have had a slightly different version of the same folk tale.
That's right.
There are local differences, and that's why we say folk tales are communal. By communal, we mean by reflect the traits and the concern of a particular community at a particular time.
So essentially, the same tale could be told in different communities, with certain aspects of the tale adapted to fit the specific community.
Not surprised.
The details
of what happens in the story would remain constant.
That was the thread that held the tale together. But all the other elements, like the location, might be modified
for each audience.
Okay.
So what about the fairy tales?
They
also are found in the most cultures, but how are they different from folk tales?
I guess the first question is,
what is a fairy tale? And don't anyone say a story with a fairy.
Because we all know that very few fairy tales actually house all the tiny magical creatures in them. But what else can we say about them? Mary.
Well, they seem to be less
realistic
than folk tales. Like they have something improbable happening. A frog turning into a prince. Oh, that's another common element. Royalty, a prince or princess. And fairy tales all seem to take place in a location that's nowhere and everywhere at the same time.
What's the line?
That's right. How the story started?
Once upon a time,
in a faraway land.
In the
case of folk tale, each storyteller would specify a particular location and time, so the time and location will differ to different storytellers.
With
the fairy tale, the location is generally unspecified, no matter who the story.
That land far away.
That land far away. We'll come back to this point in a few minutes. I saw that the fairy tale was just a written version of a folk tale. Well, not exactly. So that is how many fairy tales there were.
For example, in the late 18th century,
the Grimm brothers traveled through West Nile, Germany, recording local folk tales.
These were eventually
published as fairy tales, but not before undergoing a process of evolution.
Now, a
number of things happen when an old tales get written down. First, the language changes, it becomes more formal, more standard.
Some might say
less colorful.
It's like the difference in your language depending on what
you are talking over someone with a second.
When an
orally transmitted story is written down, and the authoritative version with a recognizer is created.
The communal
aspect gets lost, and the tale no longer
belongs to the world,
so to speak.
Because of this,
elements like the present
tailored to suit a particular audience, so they become less identifiable, more generalizable. On the other hand, descriptions of characters and settings can be developed more completely. In folktales, characters might be identified by name, but you wouldn't know anything more about them. But in fairy tales, the people no longer have to remember plots. They're written down, right? So more energy can be put into the elements of the story, like character and setting. So you get more details about the characters, about where the action takes place. What people's houses were like, small cabins, grand palaces. And it's worth investing because the story, now in book form, isn't conveyed as being lost. Those details won't be forgotten. If a folk tale isn't repeated by each generation, it may be lost over all time. But with a fairy tale, it's always there in the book, waiting to be discovered again and again. Another interesting difference involves the change in audience. Who the stories are meant for. Contrary to what many people believe today, folktales were originally intended for adults, not for children. So why is it that fairy tales seem targeted for children nowadays?